Here we're going to look at Warlock and everything that it does well, does not do so well in Hearthstone Classic. Got 4 decks here that I want to talk about. Now there's 2 that you've probably seen a ton of. Let's get into them really quick. We got Zoo and Handlock. So Zoo, lots of low cost minions, going to take advantage of the hero power. By tapping, you don't really care about your health all that much. Your health can go down as long as you're drawing cards, keeping things on the board. This deck is really meant as a board control list. You're going to try to secure the board as best as you can. Don't overextend into spells like Flame Strike and Brawl. And then when the time comes that you've secured the board, then you can start sending all your damage to their face. Very effective. Easy deck to run, it's cheap to craft, and it's a great way to learn the game. Frustrating to play against a lot of times because some of these cards can just be really good if you get them on curve, like Doomguard, the perfect draw on Zoo, difficult to deal with, but yeah, great for beginners. You could definitely hit Legend with Zoo. I see people do it. Playable at all ranks, and you can climb pretty high, but I do think the ceiling, because the skill cap isn't really that high, you're probably better off at high Legend going to something else, but this will carry you extremely far. Handlock as well, I'm sure you've seen this list a ton. Kind of does the opposite of what Zoo would do. You're going to save up all these cards into your hand. You get synergies with Twilight Drake and Mountain Giant. You can play this for cheap. You get this really beefed up Drake on 4, or you can coin it out on 3. And then setting up big taunt walls with Sun Fury, Defender of Argus, even getting Ancient Watcher involved there. Tough to break through. And if you're playing against an aggressive deck, then you can activate your Molten Giants for very cheap, taunt them up, potentially even Shadow Flame them. But this list in particular, the way that I've got it, is more combo oriented. You can also play Handlock with more of a control style. I think it's probably more of a preference thing than anything, though I would say a deck like this is going to fare better against a meta that has more aggressive decks and combo decks. So like Miracle Rogue, I think this sort of combo oriented list is going to do better because you're going to have more consistency in bursting down your opponent before they burst you down. Whereas a more control style that runs like Siphon Souls, Jiraxis, being at 15 health, taking 1 minion off the board on a turn, I don't think is going to do all that much against this more aggressive list. But I think a lot of people have success with it. So you'll see, Arcane Golem with Power Overwhelming, Faceless Manipulator. You can do the same with Leroy. That copied with the Power Overwhelming is going to be 20 damage. If you get double Power Overwhelming on that, it's going to be 24 with the Faceless for 10 mana. So definitely a lot of burst here, a lot of flexibility in how you play it. Very high skill cap deck, although it does struggle in certain matchups. If you're playing against very aggressive hunters, for example, they'll just shoot you with their hero power and spells right through your taunt walls. And, well, because you're drawing so much off of your hero power, hurting yourself as well, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice a little bit. So yeah, really interesting list. It's another one that's got a lot of flexibility in it and how you want to play it, but this will take you to Legend if you put in the time to learn it, and you could probably climb to pretty high Legend with it as well. But now those are the 2 decks that you see all the time, right? But I want to show you 2 more that I think are kind of interesting if you're not so worried about hitting Legend or climbing very high in Legend. Let's start with this Weirdlock. Now, I hope I'm giving credit correctly. I believe it was Firebat who came up with this a long time ago, way back in the day, and it is a combo-oriented Warlock. Now, it's better than you would think looking at it when you see cards like Mogashan Warden, but it's worse than you would hope. I think you could hit Diamond 5 with this, especially with win streaks and, bonus stars. I think it's fine. You'd probably struggle to hit Legend, though. Really, the idea of this deck is to stall. So you've got Doomsayers, Voidwalkers, You've got some heal spells that are going to control the board. And then, yeah, just big taunters. Mogoshan Warden is not there to kill people. It is there to just eat damage. It's kind of like an improvised heal. There's not a lot of cards that heal in Classic. Your hero power is doing damage to yourself, so you need a way to do it. You've already got the 2 Farseers in there. This is just a way to not die as fast. Now, it does have some kind of cool board control combos where you're able to, Sylvanas Shadow Flame. You can even power overwhelming your own Sylvanas, but generally the win condition is Leroy or Arcane Golem with power overwhelming and Faceless Manipulator. So very similar to the combo styled Handlock that we just took a look at, but just kind of a different way to get there. Try to stall out as much as you can, try to keep the board empty as long as you can, draw off of that hero power and even some of your cards, and then hit them with that combo. Pretty fun deck, definitely weird, probably the only thing you'll ever see Mogoshan Warden in. But I can guarantee most Classic players have not played or played against that list. Another one that I would rank pretty close to that Weirdlock. You could hit Diamond 5. Probably not going to do too amazing. I'm not sure that you could actually climb to Legend with this. I seem to always hover around a 50% win rate every time I play this deck. But this is a Malagos Warlock. So the win condition here is different, at least. So you got Malagos, and then the dream is to get 2 Soulfires with the +5 spell power, which is going to be 18 damage. Now, of course, you're probably thinking it already, and yes, I've had it happen. Your first Soulfire can discard your second Soulfire. It's unfortunate, but that's part of the risk of the deck. That's what you get for playing something that's off meta and just kind of weird and fun. But a lot of times as well, you'll end up having lethal from strange sources. Hellfire is going to deal damage. You've got Drain Life, which you can target the opponent's face with, and just tons of spell power from these minions. I've got Geomancers in here, I've got Thalnos, I've got Drakes. A lot of times you'll have Mortal Coils that are dealing 2-3 damage and getting you card draw. Maybe you're dealing 4 damage with a Drain Life, 6 with the Shadow Bolt. It's really not that uncommon that you're getting tons of value from your spell power. But just like any other Warlock, you're going to be drawing cards mostly through your hero power. It's a smaller combo to get, but it is an expensive one, being at least 9 mana for you to get there. But tools like Doomsayer, Senjin, it is going to try to help stall a little bit. You've got board clears in Hellfire and Shadow Flame, some bigger taunts, and I even tossed a Twisting Nether in here just for matchups like Druid or a Handlock, where they're going to have such big minions that you don't have like a great way to remove it. I think you could probably get away with something like a Siphon Soul as well. The one thing I will say about this list, it's off meta, so it's not great, and if your goal is to get to Diamond 5, it's fine, but I think because nobody plays with this sort of thing, there's a lot of room for improvement. So if you're interested in something like this, take it, tweak it, tech it against whatever you're playing against. I really feel like this is a deck that hasn't been explored enough, and with enough tweaking, experimentation, learning the meta, the deck, the play style, all that kind of stuff, I think this has a chance to make its way into being like a viable off-meta deck. Maybe something that can push you to Legend. This probably isn't the exact version, but I think it is a good skeleton of that. So very fun deck to play. Again, I don't think a lot of people have seen it. I don't think they've played against it. I don't think they've played with it. So just kind of a fun way to experience Warlock. So yeah, Warlock, good class if you want to hit Legend. Here's your 2 staples, both competitive, both with very different play styles, but they'll take you quite far. Great for learning the game. This one's much cheaper, this one's much more expensive, but if you're a Classic veteran, I highly recommend it. Try both of these out, at least when the season resets, because you've kind of got nothing to lose, right? You're getting 10 stars if you've made it pretty far last season. Try something a bit different, a little bit of variety with the class. I really do think that you'll enjoy it.